for, and our president-elect, Skip Essex.
Thank you, Gary, and good morning, everybody. One of our local organizations now finds itself on the front line of the battle against the fight against the coronavirus. Cruz Roja San Miguel has been serving the community since 1980 with medical, emergency, and humanitarian services. But now with a new enemy out there, it threatens the health and livelihood of the entire San Miguel de Allende community, and Cruz Roja has taken on a different role now. So the Midday Club of San Miguel de Allende is pleased to present another in a series of informative presentations about COVID-19 virus. And our guest speaker this morning is Terri Kavanagh, who is with Cruz Roja, and she is joined by Letty and John Burke. So, Terri, if you want to take it away.
One thing, Skip. Folks, if you have questions that you want presented to our speakers, we can't open up all the mics, so we can ask you to type it in the chat field, and we will make sure that our speakers get them.
And just a reminder, everybody is on mute. Okay, Terri.
Hi, can everybody hear me? Okay. Hi, I'm Terri Kavanagh, and most of you know me, I think, but those of you who don't, I've lived here now 18 years. I've been a part of a lot of NGOs, and I was, in the last administration, I was the director of nonprofits and the liaison to the foreign community. Hence, I got to know a lot of the NGOs, and there's so many that do so much good work. But Letty Fernandez, our president, stole me away, and she captured my heart, and I went on a ride-along. I got to see the facilities, so I got to see firsthand what Red Cross is all about. So my main role is something that you all run away from when I email you. I am the person that looks for money, because as you know, NGOs rely solely on donations. We do get a monthly stipend from the city, and I'm pleased to say that Luis Alberto Villarreal raised our monthly payment to 500,000 pesos during the time of COVID. That is because this is normally our collection month, and we're really low on funds. And we had to, Red Cross always has to be prepared. So we had to buy an isolation capsule. We had to buy all the PPE, which is not normally something we do and something that we had planned for. But we got it done. And thankfully, we have a lot of people like yourselves, but we still have a lot of added costs. I'm going to turn it over to Letty. She's our president. She'll tell you a little bit about what Red Cross is. And then we'll turn it over to John, because he's a paramedic and he's on the front lines, and he will be able to answer any question you have. So let's turn it over to Letty. Letty?
Yeah.
Okay, it's your turn.
Yeah, but can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Okay, well, if you let me, I prepared something this morning to share with you. And if you let me read, because I think it's going to be more fluently, because it's not my first language than the English, then I prefer to read, okay? And well, I am Leticia Fernandez de Noyola, and well, I have 16 years in Red Cross. I began like a volunteer lady, and I have 6 years in the presidents of the board. And well, we are doing great, because we have now two delegations. And we are working so hard, the 246 members that we have in Red Cross, all volunteers, and well, we are a very good team. A very, very, I have to tell you that we are like a family. Here is Terry, here is John, and they know that we are as like a great family. Well, I prepared this info because sometimes I met American people here in San Miguel, and sometimes they ask me what we do, what is our work here in San Miguel, because it's so different than in other countries. Then I think it's good that I share with you this basic information from Red Cross. The International Red Cross was founded 161 years ago. In Mexico, has been working for 110 years. And in May the 5th, in 1980, the San Miguel de Allende Red Cross was created 40 years ago. We are having this May 40 years working here in San Miguel. The Mexican Red Cross has a wide range of tasks, which differs to the Red Cross in most other countries, because besides responding to natural disaster and emergency like hurricanes, earthquakes, floods, landslides, car accidents, and others, we also provide the very necessary pre-hospital care for people involved in accident at home, out of home, or on the road, as well as care for people with health issues who need to be taken to a hospital. These activities are performed. Hey, can I change the slide? I don't know how to do it.
Nori can change it.
Oh, thank you. These activities are performed by our volunteer paramedics who are on duty 24/7, 365 days a year. Their shifts cover the entire 24 hours, and they are committed to respond to an emergency that may surface in our city. In San Miguel Red Cross, we are 13 branches that we are working. Some are in continuous contact with the population. Socorros. Socorros is the branch that handles an average of 600 medical emergencies per month. Damas Asistenciales. This group of volunteers comprised of women distributes food and first aid training to all people at the most vulnerable communities in our city. Juventud. This is our youth division. They distribute clothing, school supplies, and toys to different vulnerable communities also. They also provide courses in preventing accidents and promoting health in every elementary school, where the aim is to plant this seed of health consciousness and self-care in all the children. Veteranos. Our older volunteers make all kind of activities helping Damas Asistenciales, but they also take care of our facilities. Transportes. Transportes, they are in charge of maintenance of our ambulances and response vehicles. Comunicación. Jesús Aguado is in charge of bringing all the relevant daily news regarding to Red Cross to the general public by our redes sociales, social web. Servicios médicos. They handle all medical consultation from about 6 medical offices that we have. General doctor, dentist, optometrist, psychologist, physical therapy, and chiropody. Captación de fondos. This group, beside the group of directors, are in charge of raising the funds and resources necessary to facilitate the operation of every task in our institution. Then we are 246 people in Red Cross that we have 13 coordinations, and all of them are working in something, but everyone does what we have to do in every coordination that we have. Now, regarding the new coronavirus pandemic, I would like to inform you that our paramedics have been taking phone calls from all people who have COVID-19 symptoms. Our paramedics are trained to do phone consultations, asking callers about their symptoms and guiding them towards making a decision, whether they need to go to a hospital or if their symptoms are not related to COVID-19. If the caller needs to be hospitalized, we respond with transportation to the nearest hospital that's on the road. And if the patient is suspected of having the new coronavirus, besides providing the first aid information, we direct them to Hospital General or the CAICES so they can be tested free of charge. If they cannot make on their own, we are able to transport them with our especially COVID-equipped ambulance. The virus has been controlled in San Miguel. In the past 2 months, Cruz Roja has taken 126 phone calls related to the virus. But there are only 6, but there have been only 6 suspicious cases which we directed to do proper testing. The results are confidential, so we don't know if these people did actually have or not the coronavirus. Besides these phone consultations and providing transportation, we have also been investigating about the techniques that other countries have applied to successfully contain the virus, trying to adapt them to our specific environment with the aim of reducing the risk of virus spread. We have also been fortunate to receive formal training regarding COVID-19 from our national headquarters, and we have shared this training free of charge with other organizations who offer help to our communities, such as Protección Civil, Bomberos. We also share with Uber and some other organizations, private corporations like Hospital MAC, Unimed, and well, the disappeared HMS. So that we all know how to act if we come across people who might be infected, and how to act if they require immediate medical attention. I would like to inform you that we are having a Facebook live stream where we all talk about COVID. No, we will talk about COVID prevention. This coming Wednesday, the 20th, at 10 a.m., this will be totally free of charge and can be viewed in our official Facebook page. If you would like to join us, we just require a previous registration with your name and phone number to my cellular phone. Just send me a WhatsApp to 415-100-1427 is my cellular. I will write, if you want to write it, 415-100-1427, just a WhatsApp, and I can register in our Platica that we are going to have this May the 20th at 10 a.m. Well, we have 9 ambulances serving to general public. 6 of them are equipped to handle basic emergencies. 2 critical care equipment with ventilators. One of them has been reconverted to handle COVID-19 patients, and another one urban rescue unit. Then we have 9 ambulances and 1 of rescue working for all the community. Besides focusing on preventing this spread of the virus, we are always working on preventing other health risks and accidents. Well, this is what I prepared for you. Maybe some of my Mexican accent, maybe you lose, but I will ask Terri if something was
Sure.
not understandable.
I think you did great, Letty. But I just want to clarify one thing. 6 of those calls, suspicious calls, were the ones that we actually took at the Red Cross. If you do not call the Red Cross directly, your call goes to 911 and goes to the C4. Then they decide who transports, who talks. They might connect the patient with a doctor at CAICES. CAICES is where our sector, our health department is. They're the ones who do the testing. They're the ones you can get a test for free. You can go to MAC and pay, I don't know, X amount of dollars, but if you go to CAICES, it'll be free to everyone. Now, that being said, you will only get the test if they think that you are someone who may have COVID. So again, I want to clarify. If you want the Red Cross to take care of you, you have to call us directly. We can give you that number, but that number is only for emergencies only. It cannot be made for a question. We can give you other numbers for that. And then, like I said, the 911 decides if an ambulance needs to go for you. That means if you're in distress, we will go. We are the only ones that have a capsule. So we're the ones who will transport all the high COVID suspicious cases. And what else was there anything else that was unclear that Letty said to any of you? No? Okay.
MAC is charging 6,000 for the 6,000 pesos for the COVID test.
Okay, so before we go on to John, since he is our true hero, he's a paramedic, I'm going to let you know what costs we have incurred. Normally, a basic service costs us, the Red Cross, 300 pesos. That's only if we go and pick you up and take you to a hospital. Now, a COVID case would cost us 2,500 pesos. It would be, all of this is free to you. You don't have to pay a thing. I'm just telling you what it costs us. And because it's gone so much is because we have had to purchase Tyvek suits. Each paramedic has to go through at least 3 pairs of gloves. We had to purchase goggles, masks, helmets, surgical boots, face shields, and besides that, medicines, ventilators, and the most expensive was the isolation capsule. So we are really, really, what can I say? We really, really need your help. So what else can I say? So let me turn it over to John Wesley. He is our paramedic.
Well, Terri, just a minute. Can you explain also the free services, the free
Okay.
emergency services, and the difference of the.
I understand where you're going through. Okay. So our free services are 911 emergency life-threatening services. If you need to be transported somewhere, that's not a free service. So we would have to charge you that. But that is nowhere near what any private ambulance would charge you. Also, I want to let you guys know why you don't see us out delivering food or out in the streets. From the very, very beginning, when COVID came on the scene, we were notified by the National Red Cross that we were to all remain healthy, because our job, what we do, is really going to be needed when, for a lack of a better word, when stuff hits the fan. So most of us, we're all volunteers. It's mostly a family thing. Chances are, if you're a paramedic, your wife is a volunteer lady, or your child is belongs to the children's program. So that is why you don't see us, and that's where beautiful Nori came through, and Feed the Hungry, and everybody else who came through. We were told to stay home, stay healthy, and be ready to do our job, and that's to help the people that are going to be fighting the coronavirus.
Terri, I would like to share with all the American community that we have a special agreements with a company with airplane ambulances. Then, if you need to go to the United States or wherever, anywhere, we can make agreements with for an air ambulance. We can do this service too.
What Letty is saying is that we can accompany you on a medevac service. I am told that medevac is not currently medevacing anyone out during COVID, so that would be something that we would do under normal circumstances, not now.
Thank you, Terri.
You're welcome.
Now,
okay,
present,
so if there's any,
John?
Yes, so we'll present you over to John. John is not only a paramedic, but he also heads our search and rescue, which is a very tough job because, as you know, we had a little upset the other day where there was a manifesto, a lot of people were injured, and of course we were there. And then I don't know if you know, but there was a horrific head-on collision with a bus, and it's quite sad. It was quite sad for John and his team. I mean, they did what they could, but it was very difficult. And all of these services are difficult and they're stressful. But when you add COVID to everything, they're even more stressful, because when there's blood and sweat, there's possible transmission. And of course, right now, we have to treat everything as a possible COVID, a COVID response. So if you see one of our paramedics, give them a smile. They really deserve it. They're our heroes. So so John Wesley can take it over now.
Hi, Terry. Good morning to everybody.
Okay.
The Rotary people give us a little time for explain what happened at the Red Cross. I am 5 years volunteer in the emergency systems. I have 21 years working now, and I hope the Red Cross is a big family, because when we depart from this case, my case, we depart of home, we don't know come back or not. And then the Red Cross was or are the second home in the big family we conform. We are ready for every emergency. Ready, Terry and Leticia tell you about it. We have a squad ready for the COVID-19. In this take 1 week training, because it's not easy, the job. And then we're ready for you guys. take care 2 or 3 American people, and when I come in at the home and they tell me, "You speak English?" Yes. What happened? And then like great, because the American people sometimes they are little neighbors because they don't know the Red Cross paramedics speak English. I think from today in the future you can be comfortable because the paramedics we speak English. I am 32 years old and I am the group leader of the search and rescue in San Miguel. We have 20 people ready for the disasters and big emergencies, and waiting for you to help us, because now the Red Cross need your help, need the people. We need much help because we need many supplies and everything.
John, if I may, Skip or Ron, why don't we turn it over to questions for John? And I think that way we'll answer what your concerns. And if for some reason you need me to clarify, just let me know.
Sure, no problem.
Okay, doing a good job.
Thank you. Thank you to everybody.
Okay, does anybody have any questions?
I want to believe that Ron maybe has stepped away from the meeting, and
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm the hostess, and so I can help anyone that needs to be unmuted. Oh, there's Ron. But if anyone has any questions or comments, let's see. Skip was asking earlier, how many corona cases have you responded to? So I think that's a little bit of a charged question, because we have to remember that when a call is made,
Yes.
as Terry mentioned earlier, they have to almost assume that because someone is calling in and having some of the symptoms, they have to assume that it could be a possible corona call. So John, do you want to say something about that?
Yeah, okay. The first step, when the 911 received these calls, we take the phone number from the 911. We call directly to the people near the ambulance. We make 10 questionnaire, and then we know they are coronavirus or not. When almost the 10 questionnaire, 7 or 8, they are positive, we are very alert the squad COVID, and we send directly to the house. And from the house, we take care them to the hospital.
So what John is saying is that once we get past a call, now that's assuming that 911 gives us the call. They could give it to somebody else. But if we get a call, or if you call us directly, we all go by the same questionnaire. If you answer yes to 7 or 8 out of the questions of 10, then we will go and transport you. That's when we send out the equipped ambulance just for COVID. And then we will call again the C4, our 911, and they'll direct us to which hospital we should take them to, depending on the severity.
Great. Let's see. Are there any other questions that anyone has sent? I don't have any other questions directly, but okay, I see David is typing something. I don't know if he's going to ask something. David, you need to take yourself off of mute. Okay, there you are. I believe you're on.
Good morning. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, David.
Good morning, John.
Good morning, David.
This is a commentary, and I was reminded of this by something that our president, Gary, said before. So this question is really directed to John. John, can you hear me?
Yes, David.
Okay. And if you need any help, I could translate or I could have Terry translate, but I think you understand my English.
Thank you.
As Gary mentioned, Rotary, our club, is a service organization around the world. We have over 33,000 clubs all over the world. Mexico has been a key country. I won't go into detail, but 2 of the international presidents were Mexican. So Mexico has been very, very significant. Our club developed a program where Gary calls it young professionals. And I think the concept is very, very good. Basically, it was an attempt to get more young men and women like yourself to join our club. We understand that people in the Mexican community work during the day. And since we meet, as you know, at 9:30 every Tuesday, many Mexican people like yourself cannot attend. But we want to recognize their service. I'll leave the details to Gary, but as he said, anybody that wants to join our club, young professionals, would only be paying half of the regular dues. I know that's hard, especially now on some Mexicans. I want to know, John, what do you think of that idea? Would you, as an example, be interested in joining a club like Midday Rotary?
I already the first speaking you have. I was thinking about it, and I think my personal interesting.
So he said he's interested, David. Okay.
We had a question asked that was answered by Terry in the chat, but we'll say it out loud so people can hear. How long does it take for the results of a test to arrive? And I'm assuming that's the corona testing.
Yes.
And Terry's answer was it takes 2 days. And Tom asked, could you explain who has to pay the 6,000 peso charge for the test?
I can explain that. The 6,000 pesos is only to people that go to a private hospital. If you go to a general hospital or if you go to CAICES, which is in La Lejona, and that is where el sector de salud, that is where the doctors from the state of Guanajuato are there. And if they suspect that you may have the virus, you get it for free.
We also had a question from Mel, who wants to know what hospitals in SMA are COVID-19 capable at this time.
Right now, it's General Hospital and La Lejona. I think you can do assessment at MAC, but they're sending you somewhere else. John, do you know where they're sending the patients?
Okay, I want to explain a little bit about this testing. Okay, when this case, somebody we know maybe or suspect they have the coronavirus, they take the probe to Leon, just wait 2 days, and then they tell you it's positive or negative. It's positive, they transport from here to the special hospital in Leon.
And now that's just assuming that you're in a high risk. You're high risk, you'll go to Leon. If not, you'll ask to isolate at home and let the virus take its course.
Mm-hmm.
David, also I wanted to clarify on money. Money is a big issue for our volunteers. Our volunteers have other jobs. The Red Cross does not pay pay their salary, does not pay their rent, does not put food over their head. They do this because they honestly care about people and want to serve. So they're asked to buy their own uniforms and their boots and whatever they may need. Well, if we have enough money, and that's where my job comes in, we often will buy things for them when we have the money. Again, we're like a business. We have to prioritize, and the health of our community comes first. But I just want you to know the commitment of these paramedics, these volunteers. It is amazing because they do this all on their own dime. We do as much as we can to help them, but they usually do everything. So money's a big, big issue for most of our volunteers. I can't hear you, David.
Ron, can I ask you to go to the chats and see what questions we've got in the chat?
I'm in the driver's seat now. Ron has left the room. So we have another question. Let's see. So Michael says, for non-COVID emergency calls, does the Red Cross give the patient a choice as to where they will be taken? Which hospital?
That's if they're conscious. Okay, if they're conscious. If not, we will take them to the nearest hospital that we think will serve their needs.
Okay, wonderful. We also have a question. What happens if you have a non-COVID-19 emergency?
John, you want to answer that? Oh, what do you mean? Just a normal 911 call?
Well, as you mentioned earlier, Terry, and I think people need to keep this in mind,
Okay.
there's a difference between calling 911 and calling the Red Cross directly.
Yes, okay. The difference between calling 911 and the Red Cross. If you call 911, they're going to decide who they call, okay? If you want to be attended for sure, 100%, you need to call the Red Cross. And the emergency number for Red Cross is 152-1616. Is that right, John and Letty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's 152-1616. There you will be, your call will be answered by a paramedic, not by a 911 operator, and we will dispatch our ambulance to you.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that number with us. We have another question. Does the Red Cross check a person's living will or advance directives?
John, that's a question for John.
Can you repeat me, please?
Yes, if the Red Cross will check if a person has a living will or an advanced directive.
Lo que está preguntando John es si tienen un testamento o un directivo.
La voluntad anticipada.
Sí.
Sí, voluntad anticipada, médica. ¿Podrías contestar eso, John? Que si ustedes averiguan si la persona tiene un directivo médico
Sí.
que ya... Ajá.
Sí, de hecho, cuando son personas ya con una enfermedad.
Si puedes en inglés, sería ideal.
Perdón,
Si no, te lo
sí,
tengo
sí.
que traducir. Go ahead.
Sorry.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah, sorry. When we are on a call and the people is like cancer maybe, and the cancer is the almost advanced, we need call the director and explain what happened, and we decide the trial date or not to the hospital. Or some emergency bigger, we call the medic, and the medic tell which medicine we put in and everything.
So to answer the question, if someone is taken on an emergency, the Red Cross will try to find out if they have a living will or an advance directive. Ustedes tratan de averiguar si tiene una voluntad anticipada.
Can I answer that, Sorry?
Yes.
I think the best thing to do, if you're one of those people that has an advance directive or a will, we've asked people to tape something to their refrigerator or put something in their wallet, because obviously if somebody's unconscious, the paramedics aren't going to waste valuable time looking for such information. So if that
That's
is
a very good
concern,
suggestion.
put a list on your refrigerator. We can print out something for you, and that's something that we can send you. And obviously it needs to be in English and in Spanish.
That's a very, very good suggestion, and we appreciate that. So does anyone else have any questions? You can either raise your hand and we try to see you and unmute you, or you can unmute yourself. I hope everyone doesn't do it at one shot. I see Lee Carter, so I'm going to give you the floor, Lee.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so as far as advanced directives, let me just add a little bit there. The advanced directive, if you have an advanced directive in the United States or for somewhere else, it's not recognized in Mexico. If you have an advanced directive, it needs to be done with a notary and it needs to be registered with the state. Otherwise, I don't believe that Red Cross even has the option of honoring your advanced directive. So it's very specific, and if having an advanced directive is important to you, you need to do that through a notary.
And that's a very good point, Lee. And for those that don't know, that Lee Carter, of course, is on the board of Mitigare, which is the only non-for-profit here that handles hospice. That's a good place to start by doing your advanced directive and having it notarized. Yes, Terry.
Okay, what I suggest for all of you is to please put in your wallet or on your refrigerator what you're allergic to and what medications you're on. And you should have that both in English and Spanish.
Great tip. Mine says allergic to work. Does that work?
Yes.
All right. Skip, do you have some comments that you want to add?
Well, Terry, I really appreciate you being here today. And for those of you that have joined us for the meeting, certainly, and Terry mentioned it from the beginning, the amount of money that they have had to invest on personal protection equipment is through the roof. It's a lot of money. And the Red Cross certainly needs donations, and they need our help. Terry, how can people, what's the best way for people to do that?
The best way, if you don't want to leave your house, is to do it via PayPal, and that's paypal.me, all lowercase, / Cruz Roja SMA. There you can donate in pesos or dollars. Also, you can call us and we can send somebody to pick it up. You can also do deposits to Banorte. And Letty, how can they do deposits now at OXXO?
No, because Banorte doesn't receive them.
So basically, it's easy. We'll make it as easy as you want. If you would like a American tax deductible receipt, St. Paul's helps us with that, and they do not charge us a fee. So 100% of your donation will go to that. That's something that Father George has done for that. You can also go through SAM Community Foundation, but they do charge a fee. And if you do it in pesos and you don't need an American tax deductible receipt, you certainly will get a tax deductible receipt for Mexico.
Terry, we can deposit also in Farmacias Guadalajara and in Mega.
Okay, so you can make your deposit at Mega and Farmacia Guadalajara.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And I can send that information all to you, Skip and Nori, and if anybody wants it, we'll forward it.
Right. That would be a good idea, Terry. So it's for those that want to donate on PayPal.
I'll put it in the chat. Yeah.
Okay,
yes, please
good.
do. Thank you. And Terry, also, you had mentioned earlier that there was a non-emergency number, which I think is a great number for folks to have. Maybe they have something they want to donate. Maybe they have, the ability to provide a service or be a volunteer of some kind.
Yeah,
So it'd be wonderful to have a non-emergency number.
And that non-emergency number I'll give to you in just a bit, but I just want you to know everything that the Red Cross does and that you may not know. If you get bit by a dog, you could go to the Red Cross. If you got bit by a snake, you could call the Red Cross. If you need to go to a dentist, if you need to go to a podiatrist, we have amazing volunteer dentists, and they charge, I mean, I don't even know, a small percentage of what a normal doctor would. So maybe if you don't want to use it, but maybe you want to send your workers there. They're top notch, they're trained, and they're usually a paramedic as well. So Letty, what is our non-emergency number?
Well, for making an appointment. Okay. Well, I'm.
El número de la delegación. El número del libramiento.
No, well, I think they have to call to administración.
Okay, so what is that number?
152 45 45.
Very easy. 152 45 45.
It's non-emergency.
I'm not going to let this opportunity pass us by without having you address for a moment, maybe just a little quick tip on how folks can right now stay healthy. During last week's call, there were some comments being made about, of course, some of the efforts that the community at large is trying to do. I got a lot of personal slack last week. I got called out and kind of on the carpet for making a comment, but I'll take the abuse again this week because I care enough about everyone in San Miguel to say this again a second time. It's very important that we follow protocols and that the community at large doesn't expose themselves by doing good deeds without the proper preparation or care. Can you speak of that for a moment, Terri?
Sure. Well, of course, you have to practice good social distancing and always wear a mask. If you're not wearing the mask for you, you're wearing the mask for somebody else. And the most important thing is so you don't contaminate yourself. Also, you need to wash your hands all the time. And you just need to be mindful and respectful of others. If you see somebody, walk a safe distance away from them. I can't stress enough the importance of social distancing and wearing a mask and washing your hands. I do not suggest wearing gloves. That is a big mistake. People think they're safer. They're actually less safe because they actually touch more things. And when you have gloves on, you're not really washing your hands and you're more apt to touch your face and your mask. And if you're wearing a cloth mask, wash it daily, wash it after every use. And preferably, we would love for you to keep the N95s for first responders. There's a shortage. Right now, COVID is starting to creep in, as you know. There's over 5,000 deaths now in Mexico. We've been pretty safe here, but we're worried that with opening of more hotels, more restaurants, that you're going to see a huge spike because people are going to come from other places that are infected.
Excellent point. Before we close, I have one question that I think is very relevant and good for the cause of raising the funds needed. Chris Chase wants to know, how much does it actually cost to get the personal protection equipment, the PPE, for one EMT volunteer?
Do you want to answer that, John or Letty?
Well, I'm sorry.
No, Ron, go ahead, Letty.
It's okay, John, it's
No,
okay.
yours better.
Okay. Well, you have to tell me if I'm right. I think all the APP, that is personal protection equipment, it costs all with the careta, gloves, everything, I think is around maybe 900 or maybe 1,000 pesos.
Does that
Yeah.
include the suit, Letty? No, I
Yeah.
don't think so. Yeah, with the
No,
suit?
yeah, the tie back.
The tie back?
The tie back, yeah.
Okay,
Maybe 1,200.
okay.
1,200.
You know what, Nori, I can provide you a list with each item, the cost of each item, so we can have it specifically. And that way, that would be awesome if somebody would like to sponsor.
That'd be great. I think our club is an action club, and I think that it would please them to know that they've been able to help and put out at least one or two EMTs with everything that they need to help the cause. So please
Because
give us that information.
they're one-time use only, so.
Yes, I understand. Yes, that's
yeah,
another
of course.
very, very good point because, all of this is providing, for a one-time use. Obviously, they need enough of them, and this is where it gets very costly. So I don't have any other. Yes.
Nori, beside the personal protection equipment, we have to provide the ambulance with the converted for COVID service. Then it's gonna be another amount for converted the ambulance. Then this I think is gonna be that 2,500 that Terry say that is the cost of a COVID service in the ambulance of COVID, prepared for COVID.
So the main thing to keep in mind, I guess, and coming from a place where we also run through a lot of equipment and things, the main thing to keep in mind is that for every single call, the paramedics have to utilize one set, and then all that gets thrown away, and then it's like starting all over. So it multiplies quite quickly. Thank you so much for that. I'll turn it over to Gary.
I'm going to jump in now and thank you very much. We learned so much about what the Red Cross does, which I think a lot of us didn't realize how extensive it is and how many people are involved. So thank you so much. I would also, Skip, can you tell us who our speaker is next week?
I can.
You have to unmute first.
Am I unmuted? I am.
Yes, you are.
You're good.
Our speaker is going to be, and Lee, can you help me out with this? It's Guadalupe Alvarez with Amigos, 100 Amigos. And Lee, you can probably fill in the blanks a little bit better than I can because you're more familiar with the organization.
Yeah, Amigos 100 is part of the Corazones Unidos group that we've been donating to. It's run by Guadalupe Alvarez. She has been doing, specifically doing a lot of work in the communities. And she's one of the most generous people that I know in San Miguel as far as helping people and as far as being a real leader in our community. So I'm very excited about hearing what she has to say next week.
I'm going to add that the group goes under Amigos al Cien. And the reason why I have to add this is because the meaning is very important. Al Cien means that they give at 100%. It's not 100 amigos, which would be a little different. So it's Amigos al Cien, which is, everyone that's part of that group gives 100% of their energy and their love and their commitment to making sure that people are being fed during this pandemic.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Those of you that are on the Community Projects Committee, please stay on the line. Hopefully we'll see a lot of our guests here next week. And this meeting is adjourned.
Bye.
Adios.
Okay, CPC is starting up. So if you want to sit around and listen to what we're working on, you're more than welcome, invited. My name is Joe Rufino. I am running the CPC meetings. And once we get everyone that wants to leave leaves, we'll get started. Welcome. And thank you to the fine folks of Red Cross. Really appreciate all the work that they do.